Welcome to Celebrity Republic. If you're a fan of all things entertainment, this is the channel for you. From the latest gossip to lifestyle videos and more, we've got it all. Hit that subscribe button now to join the Republic and never miss a moment of the action. Michael Jackson was the 8th of the Jackson family's 10 children. When he was born on August 29, 1958, in Gary, Indiana, he was raised in a devout Jehovah's Witness home by his parents, Joseph and Catherine Jackson, who were both musicians. Jackson's father worked in a steel mill and oversaw the Jackson 5, his kids' musical ensemble. Michael Jackson had musical and stage skill at a young age. In Gary, Indiana, he started playing music with his siblings in bars and talent showcases, before the Jackson 5 obtained a recording deal with Motown Records in 1968. The trio went on to release a number of successful singles throughout the 1970s. After their debut song, I Want You Back, became a hit, Michael Jackson rose to prominence as the Jackson 5's lead vocalist and prominent performer very quickly. His deep, high-pitched voice and charismatic stage presence quickly made him a fan favorite. Jackson was a gifted dancer in addition to a singer, and he later created his own distinctive dance steps, including the moonwalk. Michael Jackson's debut solo album, Had to Be There, which featured the popular song of the same name, was released in 1971. Jackson's vocal range and versatility were highlighted on the record, which also laid the groundwork for his future solo success. Michael Jackson started to separate himself from the Jackson 5 and concentrate on his solo career in the middle of the 1970s. He put out several popular albums, including as Off the Wall in 1979 and Thriller in 1982. With over 66 million copies sold worldwide, Thriller went on to become the best-selling album of all time and solidified Michael Jackson's position as a pop star. In addition to his musical triumph, Michael Jackson also enjoyed popularity as a fashion icon. He frequently wore ornate attire and accessories, like as a fedora hat and one glove, and his famous Thriller jacket came to represent the 1980s. Despite his fame, Michael Jackson's personal life was frequently the subject of gossip and controversy. He was renowned for his unconventional lifestyle, which included creating a theme park at his Neverland Ranch house and leading a secluded life. Jackson's physical and mental health were also alleged to have been in question due to reports of several plastic surgeries and skin bleaching. In 1993, a 13-year-old child who had stayed at Michael Jackson's house was said to have been the victim of sexual abuse. The incident damaged Jackson's reputation and had a long-lasting effect on his career, despite the fact that he vigorously disputed the accusations and was never charged with a crime. Michael Jackson continued to tour and create songs throughout the 1990s and the early 2000s, but his public persona grew more bizarre and divisive. He was frequently captured on camera using surgical masks and other odd attire, and his physical appearance kept drastically changing. Another claim of sexual abuse against Michael Jackson was made in 2005, this time by a 13-year-old kid who had also stayed at Neverland Ranch. Jackson was accused of several instances of child molestation, but in 2005, he was cleared of all accusations. Michael Jackson's extraordinary skill and early success both as a member of the Jackson 5 and as a solo performer left a lasting impression. Yet scandal and rumors also impacted his personal life, and they got worse as his career came to a close. Michael Jackson continues to be one of the most prominent and well-liked musicians of all time despite these scandals, and his legacy continues to influence future generations of artists. One of the greatest musicians and performers of all time, Michael Jackson had a career that lasted over 4 decades. He started out in music as one of the 4 older brothers and himself in the Jackson 5, a group that subsequently evolved into a solo career. A more thorough summary of Michael Jackson's career may be found here. Jackson 5, 1964-1975. The Jackson 5 was founded in 1964, with Michael serving as the lead vocalist and the group's youngest member. The Jackson 5 signed with Motown Records in 1969, the same year that they also issued their debut album, Diana Ross Presents the Jackson 5. The Jackson 5 later issued a number of more albums and popular singles, such as ABC, I'll Be There, and Never Can Say Goodbye. Michael Jackson's aptitude for singing and dancing was obvious from a young age, and he rapidly emerged as the group's star performer. Solo career, 1971-1990. Michael Jackson's debut solo album, Had to Be There, which included the popular title tune, was released in 1971. Throughout the 1970s, Jackson continued to put out solo albums like Then and Off the Wall, the latter of which was produced by Quincy Jones and demonstrated Jackson's range as a musician. Michael Jackson released Thriller in 1982, and it went on to become the best-selling album of all time, selling over 66 million copies globally. Jackson's place as a pop icon was cemented by the success of Thriller, which featured hit songs including Beat It, Billie Jean, and Thriller. With his inventive dance and storytelling, as witnessed in videos for Thriller, Beat It, and Billie Jean, Michael Jackson's music videos also became iconic. Later career 2000s. In 2001, Michael Jackson signed the then largest music contract in history, at $200 million, with Sony Music. Throughout the early 2000s, he continued to create music and go on tour. Although he made fewer and fewer public appearances, Jackson was accused of sexually abusing children once more in 2005, this time by a 13-year-old kid who had stayed at his house. He was accused of numerous instances of child molestation, but in 2005, he was cleared of all accusations. In his latter years, Jackson's health declined, and on June 25, 2009, at the age of 50, he passed away from a propofol and benzodiazepine overdose. Michael Jackson's career was distinguished by both his difficulties and personal struggles, as well as his extraordinary talent as a musician and performer. But there is no denying his influence on music and popular culture, and it can be heard in the music of contemporary musicians. The world was shocked by Michael Jackson's passing on June 25, 2009. And it signaled the end of an era in entertainment and music. His personal doctor, Dr. Conrad Murray, had prescribed a cocktail of medications, chiefly propofol and benzodiazepines, which together were the cause of his demise. Here is a more thorough explanation of Michael Jackson's passing. Countdown to Michael Jackson's passing. Michael Jackson stated in March 2009 that he would start a run of 50 concerts at London's O2 Arena in July of the same year. These This Is It concerts were supposed to be his last ones. In May 2009, Jackson started the show's rehearsals, but reports from those close to him claimed that he was having both physical and mental difficulties. Jackson was rushed to Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center on June 19, 2009, only 6 days before the first scheduled performance, after experiencing cardiac arrest at his residence in the Los Angeles area of Holmby Hills. Jackson had cardiac arrest treatment and finally recovered, although stories later surfaced, suggesting that his illness was more serious than first thought. Over the years, there has been a lot of speculation regarding Michael Jackson's net worth, making an exact sum difficult to ascertain. Nonetheless, Jackson's estate was thought to be worth about $500 million when he passed away in 2009. Due to the sustained global popularity of his songs and image, his estate has continued to make a sizable profit since his passing. According to a Forbes estimate from 2018, Jackson was the highest-earning star to have passed away, with his estate having made $2.1 billion since his passing. Jackson's music archive, which includes the rights to both his own recordings and those of other artists like the Beatles, is where the majority of his fortune originates from. Jackson's already sizable income increased in 2016, when Sony paid $750 million to acquire the majority of the collection. Jackson had a sizable real estate portfolio in addition to his music library, which included the well-known Neverland Ranch in California, which he bought in 1988 for $19.5 million. Later, in 2019, the property was sold for $22 million. Despite his fortune, Jackson had a reputation for being a big spender, and he had a history of financial troubles. He reportedly spent millions on opulent mansions, fine paintings, and other luxuries, and he was also recognized for making significant charitable contributions all of his life. Michael Jackson's demise. On the morning of June 25, 2009, Dr. Conrad Murray, Jackson's personal physician, gave Jackson a cocktail of medications to help him sleep, including propofol and benzodiazepines. According to reports, Jackson had been experiencing insomnia and anxiety in the days before he passed away. When Jackson was under the influence of the narcotics, Murray allegedly kept an eye on his vital signs, but Jackson eventually stopped breathing and could not be revived. Emergency personnel were called to Jackson's house, but at 2:26 p.m. PDT, he was declared dead. Fans flocked outside Jackson's house, hospitals, and other venues to grieve and pay their condolences. As soon as word of his passing spread throughout the world, Jackson's death was classed as a homicide, and the official cause of death was determined to be acute propofol and benzodiazepine intoxication. Investigations and aftermath. For his part in Michael Jackson's murder, Dr. Conrad Murray was charged in February 2010 with involuntary manslaughter. Many witnesses were asked to testify during the 6-week trial, which started in September 2010 2011 and included members of Jackson's family and medical professionals. In the end, Murray was found guilty and given a 4-year prison term, although he was released in October 2013 after serving only about 2 years. The usage of prescription pharmaceuticals in the entertainment business has come under increasing scrutiny as a result of Jackson's passing, and several other high-profile fatalities have been connected to related problems. In the years since his passing, Jackson's estate has kept on releasing new music and memorabilia, and his legacy as one of the greatest artists and performers of all time has endured. Throughout his whole life, Michael Jackson was a very contentious figure who was frequently accused of inappropriate behavior and dubious actions. The following are some of the most significant Michael Jackson-related controversies. Claims of child sexual abuse. Over the years, a number of allegations of child sexual abuse have been made against Michael Jackson, which may be the source of the most well-known controversy surrounding him. A settlement was struck outside of court after Jackson was accused of sexually abusing a 13-year-old child in 1993. He was cleared of charges in 2005 in connection with a different case, when he was charged of assaulting a 13-year-old kid, but the allegations persisted, and in the years since his passing, a number of documentaries have been made that thoroughly examine the claims. Throughout his life, Michael Jackson underwent a number of highly contentious bodily alterations, including skin bleaching and plastic surgery. He was believed to have had bleach applied to his skin, and to have had numerous plastic procedures, including a nose job and chin augmentation. Many people question Jackson's claim that his altered appearance was caused by the disease vitiligo, which causes skin to lose color. Odd conduct. Throughout his whole life, Michael Jackson was frequently criticized for his odd and quirky behavior. He was known to have slept in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, and to have a pet chimpanzee named Bubbles. In Berlin in 2002, he also made headlines by dangling his infant son, Prince Michael II, over a balcony to much public and media backlash. Money issues. Despite being among the most popular performers of all time, Michael Jackson struggled with money issues all of his life. He had a reputation for being a big spender, and he had a history of financial-related lawsuits and legal issues. He had a lot of debt and, according to reports, was just about to file for bankruptcy when he passed away. Michael Jackson reportedly utilized a number of prescription medications to aid in his sleep and anxiety management. He was believed to have battled drug addiction throughout his life. He was reportedly taking a variety of medications in the days before he passed away, including propofol, which was given to him by his personal doctor, Dr. Conrad Murray. For his part in Jackson's death, Murray was ultimately convicted guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Relationships that raised controversy. Michael Jackson's interactions with others, especially kids, were frequently the subject of intense scrutiny and debate. Other critics contended that his intimate interactions with youngsters were inappropriate, because he frequently invited them to stay at his Neverland Ranch. Jackson insisted that his interactions with kids were entirely benign, and that he was just trying to be of assistance. All in all, Michael Jackson's life was distinguished by a lot of extremely contentious events and accusations, and his legacy is still quite contentious. Despite the fact that many admirers still consider him to be one of the best musicians of all time, some people think that his behaviors and demeanor were extremely troublesome.
Join the ultimate celebrity fan community by subscribing to this channel, Celebrity Republic. Get the latest news, interviews, lifestyles, and exclusive content from your favorite stars all in one place. Don't miss out. Subscribe now.